what I was told was that these questions are good questions. They're logical questions. They're reasonable questions. But they're not very productive when you're working on koan. They're not really the point of what you're trying to do at that moment. And really what they begin to amount to is noise. They're like fuzz or static. And really, they're, at least in my case, a habit. It's what my mind does. It's where my mind goes. And what I was told was that I should allow these thoughts to arise. I should allow these thoughts to move through me. I should neither indulge nor deny them. I should just let them be. Again, I was resistant. I value intellect. I like being with smart people. That's why I like coming to the UU Church. I mean, I find a lot of smart people here. I love engaging in these ideas. And I felt that leaving these ideas unchallenged and unconsidered seemed reckless and irresponsible. But again, I was instructed. And what I heard was that when I encounter one idea with another idea, I remain locked in both ideas. I remain locked in the absolute. I start treating both ideas as if they are reality and not pictures of reality. And what was suggested was that I treat my own thoughts the way that I treat any film that I go to see, which is to accept that on some level it's a pretty fiction. Even my good ideas, even my best ideas, even the ideas that feel really researched, are still incomplete stories. Stories that I'm telling myself and that I have to allow to grow. I could accept that. But I still couldn't let go of analyzing ideas. I was still looking at ideas. And I realized that the words medicine and world were really charged and very loaded words. Medicine, especially in our culture, has some really deep overlays. It is Western medicine that leads us to connect medicine with sickness and brokenness and the need for repair. And that is certainly embedded in the idea of medicine in the koan. But that's not the only way medicine can be perceived. It can be perceived the same way that holistic medicine operates, which is that we are whole, we need to be in balance, and we can thrive. So medicine doesn't only have to be about healing and repairing. Medicine can be about moving forward and becoming even better. On the other side of the equation was the word world, which, as I told you in the beginning, I accepted as being full of medicine. But again, I began to think, well, the world has negative connotations too. Wordsworth, one of my favorite romantic poets, wrote, "The world is too much with us. Late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our power." Dickens, in A Christmas Carol, there are those famous words where Jacob Marley is confronting Scrooge, and he tells Scrooge that the counting house, the ultimate symbol of the world, was but a drop in the ocean, the comprehensive ocean of his business. In the Middle Ages, Everyman, a morality play, and Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan show a world that is not to be trusted. Jesus, in the Bible, only gets angry one time and on record, and that's when the world is too much with them in the counting houses and the money changers are in front of the temple, and he tosses over those tables. And Plato, years, hundreds of years before Jesus, said, we really can't trust the forms of this world. They are the shadows. So the world was also not seen as something trustable, as well as something trustable or trustworthy. But I couldn't let go of the idea that the world was full of medicine. That just seemed so apparent to me. It just seemed so obvious to me. And then I had my breakthrough moment. For some reason, the image of the yin and yang came to me. And in that, as you know, the dark and light are encompassed together. There's a fluid boundary between the two of them. It's not static, it's always changing. And each at its center contains the other. They are inseparable. Darkness and light exist together. One does not negate nor preclude the other. And then I heard a really wonderful extension of this koan. And in it, a teacher says to the student, go out and find me something that is not medicine. The student comes back and says, I can't. There's nothing that is not medicine. And he brings a blade of grass, and he says, this may heal you, or this may harm you. The simplest thing is dark and light. The simplest thing contains medicine and contains something harmful. They can't be separated. But in that question, in that response, there is nothing that is not medicine. It's almost stronger than saying the world is medicine, because it says you can't avoid it. There is nothing that is not medicine. Some of us know the Packards who lost their child and turned that into Ben's bells. We've lost jobs and spouses and homes, and we've turned those into experiences that are powerful and worthwhile and meaningful. The world is medicine. I began to look at it through the concepts that I was familiar with. And there's the Christian concept of grace, which is that God's love is pouring into this world at every moment, unremittingly. You can't stop it, and you can't earn it. And on the eastern side of the fence, there's the concept of Tao, which is that the universe is providing every single moment. You can't stop it. Grace is, Tao is, medicine is. They all began to resonate with me. And that led me to the second half of the koan. What type of medicine are you? The phrasing on this one is really beautiful too. It reminded me of when I was in college and I was learning to be a teacher, and one of my professors said, when you ask your class at the end of the lesson if they have questions, I do not want you to say this. Do not say, do you have any questions? That implies that maybe they shouldn't, that maybe they should have gotten it all. She said, when you ask that question, I want you to ask it this way. What questions do you have? That way, the assumption is that they have questions. What type of medicine are you makes an assumption. You are medicine. It's not asking if you are or if you are not. It's asking what type of medicine you are. There is no doubt about it. You, your lives, your interactions are medicine. The question also has other implications. It's asking me, it's asking us to be introspective. We can bring our medicines into the world like children do. They just bring them. They don't think about them. They're there. But there's something about being fully conscious about what type of medicine you are that enables you to work with that, to help that to grow. And this part of the koan is asking you, is asking me, is asking us to think about that. What are the medicines? How do we bring these And finally, it's asking us to do something about that in the world. John Tarrant, whom I mentioned earlier, says Zen is the warrior's way. Zen was not about sitting up on a mountain and getting away from everybody. Zen was always, and still is, about bringing practice into the world. It's about being of service. And this question not only asks us to reflect on who we are, what type of medicine we are, but it implies that we will bring that medicine into the world. In the end, for me, part of what the koan did was it helped me with attentional focus. It taught me that where I put my attention is really critical. When I was working on my dissertation, I found lots and lots of research, both behavioral research, brain research, that tells us that where we put our attention is critical to how we feel, to how we interact, and it can even change the very structure of our brains. Attentional focus is important. In this koan, the world is medicine. What type of medicine are you? Helped me to focus my attention, to change my orientation, to begin with trust and gratitude, and to look for ways to be of service. I like the koan's notion that medicine may heal the sick, but that it may also strengthen and improve what is already good. I like that the koan suggests that there are many, many types of medicine that work perfectly well in this world. I like the koan's call to be introspective, to focus my attention. And I like the implication that I should carry my medicine into life. All of these spoke to me, and all of these speak to me loudly, as a teacher, as a parent, as a husband, as a friend, as a community member, and as a person. What a wonderful orientation for a day, for a moment, or for a lifetime. The world is medicine. What type of medicine are you?